Alright, so I don't think I want to be Negan for Halloween anymore. I have a Halloween party next week, and I was going to go as Negan. And now I don't want to. But I already bought the stuff, so it's too late. Anyways, guys, if it looks like I'm really tired, it's because I really am tired. I haven't slept since the premiere was released. Not because I was that broken up about it. I mean, I was. It was an insane episode, but I have to work overnights the next few nights for work, and I'm not used to it, so I'm not used to being up all night. So I haven't slept. So I've had time at work to think about, the episode, what it meant for the season, and all that. And in the reaction episode that we put out last night is at like 92,000 views, and I think it's the most searched video right now. So that's pretty cool. I'll show you. Hold on. See all those views? 92,000 in the first day. And then another cool thing here, let me type this in. It's pretty sick right there. I'll show you that too. The Walking Dead reaction. Oh, hold on. There we go. The Walking Dead reaction, first video. Attaboy. Attaboy, coming up in the world. So, if you guys checked out that video, I appreciate it. I try to respond to all of the comments on my videos. It's just something I try to do in general. But there's like 500 comments on that video, and I was working, so I didn't have the chance. 494 comments right now. So, just going to break down the episode real quick. By far the most intense, sad, I wouldn't say, graphic, but it's just like the craziest episode of television I've ever watched. If you guys watched my prediction video from the trailer from like last week, I did get my prediction correct where I thought Glenn and Abraham would die. So I was right in my prediction. I know that was a prediction of a lot of people though, so regardless. Just going through the episode really quickly. When he decided to kill Abraham first, it wasn't a surprise to me. I liked that they did it through Rick's point of view so you could kind of see what he was going through. I liked that I didn't have to wait till the end of the episode to find out who got killed, but when he said taking it like a champ, I felt like it would be somebody like Abraham or Daryl, and I didn't feel like he would kill Daryl and Glenn, although that would be a big... I don't even know if the creators of The Walking Dead would do that. So, I know they do take chances, and they do basically let you know that any main character, regardless of who they are, is on the chopping block at any point, but we knew in the comic they killed Glenn. I thought they would stay true to that because it would develop a new story for Maggie. So when they kill Abraham, I was like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it will just be Abraham, and they'll kind of cop out, and they'll let main characters stay alive. And then Daryl punches him. And I was like, shit. And I knew something was going to happen. Like, everybody knew. The second he punched him, and I was like, wow, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it is Daryl. But then when he's, I don't remember his right-hand man's guy's name. Dwight? Yeah, Dwight. Offers to shoot him with a crossbow, and he says no. It kind of threw it up in the air. I was like, well, maybe it will be Daryl. And then he hits Glenn. And the scene where Glenn's face and eye, like basically right from the comic, if you've seen the comic or the graphic novel, his eyes coming out, and it's just a very hard scene to see as somebody who's been watching The Walking Dead since literally the first episode, since season 1, I think 6 or 7 years ago, to see a main character that you've been following for 7 years killed like that is just very odd as a fan. And to hear him say, what did he say? Wherever you go, I'll find you, to Maggie, like, my God. So initially, I was upset with Daryl, obviously. And then I was confused, because lately, Rick has seemed like the less in control character, and Daryl was always the voice of reason lately. Like, no, Rick, we shouldn't do that. Here's why. He was like the voice of reason lately. So it doesn't seem in character lately for Daryl to be the one to lose it. But then at the same time, they've never been in a position like that where they are all helpless and not in control of the situation at any aspect. So I'm confused a little bit by Daryl's decision, or basically the screenwriter's decision, to have Daryl be the one to lose control during that situation, when lately he's been the one who's kind of been the reasonable leader when Rick hasn't been. But at the same time, Glenn dying creates a whole bunch of storylines to start. And by that I mean, how is the group going to move on past this? If anybody died, the story's going to be how is the group going to move on, but how is Maggie going to move on without Glenn? How is Maggie going to raise her child without Glenn? How is this going to impact her and her relation with Negan and Rick? And then not only that, but now that Daryl is left alive and now that Glenn was killed because of Daryl, how is Daryl going to, what's his story going to be? He's going to blame himself, obviously. So that's an interesting storyline to go off of as well. And I think what they did well in this episode is they made the entire point of the episode to drive home that Rick is not in control. In every other season, in every other episode, with every other villain or every other bad guy or every single protagonist, whether it was the sickness or the governor or the wolves or all this stuff, like, even though Rick and his group might be losing the battles or whatnot, Rick was still confident, like, no, we'll make it through it. We always do. You know, they can't do this to us. You know, we'll find a way. But in this episode, and dating back to the last episode as well, at the end of season 6, it really just drove home that there is literally no hope, at least in that direct situation. There is no hope for Rick's group. They are 100% powerless at the mercy of Negan and his group. And it's refreshing in a bad way, in a bittersweet way, to no longer feel like Rick's group is invincible. And I say that as obviously a fan of the series, a fan of Rick. I like Rick. I like his group. I don't want what happened to keep happening, or I don't want it to happen, but it did. But as a fan, in the beginning of the series, what made The Walking Dead unique was how they're surviving in these what seem like unsurvivable situations. And then as you went on, it was just like, okay, Glenn should not live through this, and just constantly making it out alive. Or Rick. You know, now it's like they can walk through or fight 80 zombies at a time now. And they'll be fine. Like, it's just like, oh, it's understandable nowadays that people just live. So for you to see as a fan a whole new aspect of, like, they can't survive everything. Here's two main characters just gone and nothing they can do. Now powerless. It's just like, it's almost like, I think they said it on The Talking Dead after, like, he's like, we're not even started in terms of storytelling. Like, there is a bunch of story to tell after this, and I think it's like kind of what's the word? Revigorated? Sure. Does that fit? We're gonna go with it. Like, energized. Oh, low power mode on the phone, but re-energized the storyline for me. It gave me somebody to hate, and I feel like with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I'm going to love to hate his character. You can even tell he's a very charismatic leader, but at the same time, he's pretty fucked up. Like, he kills somebody from their group, Then he kills Glenn. He kind of apologizes for what he's doing, but then at the same time is like, I told you I had to, and he's a man of his word. So he did only kill 2 of them, when Rick and his group have killed, like, I don't know a count, but 30, 40 people, however many. And that is pretty rational in terms of, I guess, other groups that they've dealt with. Like, if Rick's group was in the same situation, you know, Rick might just kill all of them. I'm not sure. But either way, so all the decisions he makes, it's very interesting in terms of Negan as a character. He kills those people and then he takes Rick with him. Then he offers Rick the chance, gives him the opportunity, like, your only chance right now is to take that hatchet, but at the same time he knows he has a gun, you know, it's not possible for him to, but he still tempts Rick with that engagement, just to prove again, like, nope, you can't win. And like I said, the point of that episode was to show that Negan is in control and to take all control away from Rick. And then he tosses the hatchet out and makes him go get it. He puts him in a dangerous situation, but then also saves him when it gets too dangerous, because he does want Rick to live. That's pretty clear. He wants Rick to live because he wants him to be an adequate resource. He probably at least respects that he sent a bunch of men to kill Rick and his group, and Rick's group won, I guess you could say, 2 consecutive engagements, maybe more, 3 consecutive engagements against Negan's men. So he does respect, I would say, Rick's, in Rick's group's ability to perform, I guess, at surviving. So he also saves him. And then to fully break Rick, which he doesn't feel like he's done yet when he gets there, you know, he starts cleaning off the axe, at which point I thought he was going to cut off his hand or something along those lines, because Rick loses a hand in the comics. But he tells him that he's going to have to cut off Carl's arm. And Carl, being the badass, you know, is just like, Dad, do it. But it's at that point where he either has the choice to kill or get his entire group killed or cut off his son's arm, that Rick finally breaks. Which was hard to watch, I guess you could say. The acting throughout the entire episode by every character was amazing. The directing was amazing. It's just I like the direction The Walking Dead is heading in terms of the screenplay and the writing and the directing and the casting choices and everything. So I'd like to know, I know you guys posted in my reaction video, if you guys have any thoughts on what I've said, if you guys agree with anything I've said, leave it in the comments down below. Appreciate more than you guys know all the support. I do these videos every week, so there will be a reaction and a breakdown of it. And as always, guys, I'll see you next week, hopefully for a little bit of closure or something from that episode. We need something. We need something. And as always, guys, see you next week. Okay, bye.